Hey everyone, Daniel here, and welcome to Valiant Vlogs. As you can see, I've updated the set. We've still got Tiny XO and Faith, but now we have Archer and Armstrong joining us every single time. So, hey, that's cool. But speaking of XO, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite Valiant characters and why I love him so much. And who else could it be but the Visigoth King himself, Eric of Dacia, aka XO Manowar. Now, I decided to do a video on XO Manowar because I recently helped my friend Scott Nicewander with research for his XO Manowar video on comic misconceptions. It's a really great video. If you haven't seen it, I will link it to you in the description and in the card above. But while I was helping him with that episode, I got to thinking about XO Manowar and who he was as a character, and I decided I wanted to make a video not only to piggyback off of his, but also to talk about why I love XO Manowar so much. And in going through classic Valiant and current Valiant and sort of, refreshing my memory of XO Manowar, I think why I love him can come down to one word: hero. No matter what, Eric of Dacia is a hero. Now, for those of you familiar with the current incarnation of Valiant, that might seem like a little bit of a stretch. After all, he goes in and murders his enemies, like one by one without really a care for thought, and, is like just wipes out people without really a second thought. And yes, he does do that, but XO Manowar is not a hero in the traditional sense. He's not a Superman hero. He's not even a Batman hero. XO Manowar is a hero in the classical sense. A Greco-Roman hero. The hero from Greek mythology, like Hercules or Perseus. After all, what is the main trait of a classical hero? Hubris. The ability to make mistakes. A tragedy behind them. And that's one of the things I really love about XO Manowar, is the fact that he, throughout so much of his history, has been about being a very old hero in the modern world. Yes, originally at the start of his series, Eric would just murder his enemies, without a care. But as he's continued on, and as the story has progressed, Eric has slowly but surely learned more about heroism in a traditional sense, in the modern sense at the very least. And not only could Eric be considered a classical hero, he could also be considered Shakespearean. After all, Shakespeare once wrote a story about a young prince who was wasting his time on pleasurable pursuits and not thinking about the duties of being king, suddenly thrust into being king. Yeah, XO Manowar is basically Henry V. And you can see that as he grows as a character, he also follows Henry V's character arc from being young Prince Hal to being the noble King Henry. But, like King Henry, he also has to make hard choices and has to be clever and do what's best for his people, even if that means hurting others or even people close to him. And that's what I love about XO Manowar. He is a character who is written and steeped in old traditions of heroism, yet is placed into this element, into this world that is all new elements of heroism. He is classic Greek mythology and Shakespearean archetypes intermingled with fantastic and sci-fi elements of comic books today. Eric of Dacia is quite possibly the greatest comic book hero ever created because of what he exemplifies. And that's why I love him so much. So thank you, Jim Shooter, Bob Layton, Robert Venditti, and everyone else who has worked on this character and made his adventures so great throughout the last 26 years. I look forward to where he goes from here. In the meantime, why don't you be my hero and share this video with your friends, give it a like, and if you haven't already, click that big red subscribe button right down there. I make new comic book videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, barring any complications, unfortunately. And you can check out all the Valiant vlogs in our playlist and I actually don't know what's actually going to be showing up on the screen right now. So I'll see you next time. Stay valiant. Yeah, Exo Manowar is basically Henry IV. Blech, not Henry IV. Just like King Henry, he also has to make hard choices.